and you're co-writing your new film, Candy Store. What can you tell us about Candy Store?
Candy Store is exciting. We're almost fully cast and we're financed. It's going to be my first ever independent film. Doing it with a company called Lotus. They're great guys. But we we wrote it. I wrote it with my best friend, actually. My closest friend's a guy named Shannon Burke, who's a novelist. He wrote a really great novel called Safe Light, and he wrote a book called Black Flies, which I'm very proud for him was reviewed on the cover of the New York Times Sunday Book Review, which is a big deal to me. But so we've been working on this script for 4.5 years now. We're it's very much in the vein of Traffic and Syriana, in that it's a multiple narrative. It sort of touches on. I mean, I think we were a bit ahead of the curve because it was really about Ukrainian politics getting into NATO. When we wrote it 5 years ago, everyone was like, "Who cares if Ukraine gets into?"
I wouldn't say you're ahead of the curve because I think you're in the know.
Yeah,
Because of your
the
fascination with.
curve has caught up with us. But when we were writing it, the actual backstory of our villain is that he thought that he was going to meet Obama at the airport in Odessa, and instead it wasn't Obama, but it was the Secretary of Transportation, and he got his ego wounded, and it sets this entire crazy plot in motion. But it's a film. It's a little bit like Pulp Fiction, maybe. It's like I said, it's nonlinear. It's a bit of a Shaggy dog tale. But I think the characters are great, and I think we have really awesome actors coming together. So
You have De Niro, Christoph Waltz, and then you have Zero Dark Thirty's Jason Clarke.
it's funny how the movie business works. Actually, none of those people are going to be in the movie, and when we do it, it's going to be I believe it's going to be Ryan Reynolds, Kiera Knightley, and then a actor who I'm hopefully meeting next week that I don't want to jinx and say, but another person. But you never know.
So how did
It's all timing, It's like when you can start, and when people are available, and like
they have to have the call sheets available?
you think you're going to do it one time, and then suddenly it pushes, and someone else, like Jason, got a couple big movies, and just suddenly wasn't really available. And even though we worked with him for a long time, but it's just it's just the way the film business is. It's hard. Anything that has a serious idea behind it. Well, I was joking. In Hollywood today, unless you have someone who can fly, it's a drama. And so studios don't really want to make dramas. They want to make movies with people that can fly or have superpowers or wear costumes, tights, capes and tights. And so if you don't have that, and I don't have that, no, metaphorically we have it, but we don't have it literally. You're in kind of a small damned segment that I call the adult serious ghetto. And so in the adult serious ghetto, you just are always standing around hoping crumbs will fall off the back of a truck.
Adult serious ghetto. How did you come up with that term?
Through years of suffering. Actually, I earned that term the old-fashioned way. I had my ass kicked by the movie business. I've had many scripts that I think are really great, and trying to do them in the vein that It's funny, when Traffic happened, you just sort of feel like, oh, this is what's supposed to happen. You work really hard, and you write about something you care about, and then it gets made, and it goes out and finds this audience, and everybody says you're awesome, and then you think that's what's always going to happen. And then, with Syriana, and both of these were under the umbrella of Steven Soderbergh, and Steven Soderbergh had a lot of credit, credit and goodwill. Traffic, he just made Aaron Brockovich. Everyone knew it was going to be a big hit. He had at Warner Brothers, when we were doing Syriana, he had Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12. And he was able to kind of godfather these very special projects, and he's not doing that, now. And so it's.
He retired.
Well, I mean, his idea of retirement is to work, do 5 times more than anybody else on earth. Like, he's painting and doing collages. He's doing a play. He's doing a TV series. I mean, that's all at the same time. So he's, that's like 5 lifetimes for most people. But that's like, for him, it's like Monday. But I think that the mistake I made is that I thought that I was too responsible. I thought, oh, I'm writing these things and I'm at the center of this, and that's why they're happening, because I'm doing such a good job. And but in truth, just a lot of things had to break your way. There were a lot of lucky things happening off screen that I didn't know about, and suddenly, with a succession of scripts, starting with Blink, Dead Spy Running, now Candy Store. They're movies that are really good. You know, the scripts are good. Like, you'd look at it and you'd be like, wow, that's why aren't you doing that? And the truth is, the appetite for that type of movie inside the movie business, piracy, piracy changed the metric by which movies make profit, enormously, starting in '08. The decision-making machinery that would greenlight a movie like Traffic or Syriana went into like terror mode. And I could give you 1,000 examples, 1,000 of them, but the bottom line is the studios are in the home run business. They want to make a movie. They'd rather spend $120 million on a movie that they think could make $1 billion than spend $40 million on a movie that they, in the best case scenario, would make $100 million.